Welcome back here to Curtis High School, where it's time to wrap this one up with the Aldersons Awards West postgame show for trophies, awards, T-shirts, and so much more. Go to aldersons.net and check out their full catalog. I am Matthew King, joined alongside Joe Withy, Kim King here running camera tonight. Final score of game number 2, the Curtis Vikings knock off the Camas Papermakers 79-46. A rough second half for Camas was the story of this one. The turnovers, Curtis ended up working out of their little slump to start this ball game, and all of a sudden the Vikings pull away there, especially in the fourth quarter, where they outscored the Camas Papermakers 22-6, and Curtis now has a date with Olympia for the rubber match. 1-1, they will meet for the district championship on Saturday.
Yeah, you know, the first quarter, even the first half, even though Camas was down 11, it didn't seem like they were outplayed that bad, but Curtis can do that to you. They can play poorly and still be ahead of you because of their individual talent, and their team talent didn't come together great in the first half. It sure did in the second half, but that third and early fourth quarters, the Curtis defense was everywhere. Quickness, playing with confidence, creating opportunities, and just with a few minutes to go, Camas only had 5 field goals the second half, and Curtis, Cinque Maxwell had 7 himself in the second half. And just defense led to offense, and Curtis's individual talents and unselfishness came through for a big rout in the end, Matthew.
Yeah, and again, for Curtis, it's one thing to keep a guy like Zoom Diallo. You can keep a Tice Paulson. You can keep one of them off to a slow start, but they're so balanced on offense that it's hard to keep all of them off to a slow start. It's hard to guard them all and really shut them down. Someone's going to step up. Tonight it was Tice Paulson and Cinque Maxwell who scored 17 for Paulson, 20 for Maxwell. For Camas, a young team, very young team. They are just going to get better and better. We talked about how many young players that they have, and they're still likely going to be – they are going to be in the regional round. If they win in regionals, they're going to be at the Dome anyway. So this team – a pesky team, just got to clean up the little mistakes. Can't turn the ball over against high-quality opponents like this. They were right in this game in the first half. I think they kind of stunned Curtis in that first half, but the Vikings just cleaned up their mistakes while Camas, unfortunately, started making more mistakes.
They did. The offensive end was so sloppy. The number of turnovers, poked balls, slapped away balls, strips, blocked shots, just a real offensive letdown for Camas in the second half because they showed an ability to pass. They never really showed a huge ability to hit the outside shot, but again, look who they're playing against. Veteran, tough defenders in the Curtis Vikings up and down their roster. So Maxwell, 20 points, led the way for Curtis on 9 of 14 shooting. Tice Paulson hit 6 of 10 from the field, 17 points. Zoom Diallo, 6 out of 11 from the field, 12 points. Bilal El Galimi came off the bench nicely for 10 points. Devin Witten had 8 points. And they had a couple other players get into the scoring column. Josiah Johnson had a good first half with 6. So they spread it around again. And Paulson hit those 3 in a row early in the second half that really extended the lead and just said that and then his defense on the other end, too. Paulson was responsible for all kinds of steals and Camas turnovers. Camas was led by Josh Dobasinskis, who had 12 in the first half, 16 for the game, 7 points for Jamison Carlisle. Played a pretty good floor game. Jace Van Voris, all 6 of his in the second half. Theo McMillan had 6 points and 4 in the second half. Just not a great second half for Camas.
That was a tough second half. They will still play in a third-place game on Saturday. Let's name our MVP, and then we'll break down what's going on Saturday. MVP of this one, again, normally it's a guy like Zoom Diallo, but he had an off night. We're not even going to go with the lead scorer. Cinque Maxwell, he had 20, 16 in the second half, but we're going to go with Tice Paulson, 17 points, 7 in the first half. All 7 first half points were in that first quarter where no one could get it going for Curtis besides Paulson, but it's what he did on both ends of the court. Just created all sorts of chaos and havoc for Camas. Got quite a few steals, some blocks. He was doing it all. Some great passes. some really tough rebounds as well. You name it, Tice Paulson was doing it, but he really was the trendsetter, the one who helped Curtis dig themselves out of a tough early funk. It was Paulson's night.
It was. Pice pilfers. There was a few in that second half. And, he the author of that great steal in the state championship game last year. His senior year is going just fine. And, a sluggish start for Curtis, but, boy, talent can win in the end, and it sure did tonight. And Paulson is our player of the game with his 17 points and leading his team to victory.
So Tice Paulson is the MVP. Again, both these teams will play Saturday. Saturday, first game at 11 a.m. It will be Camas taking on a Federal Way. Then we will have the girls' third place game at 2. That will be a fantastic matchup, a rematch of the SPSL League title game between Emerald Ridge and Sumner. Then we will have the boys' championship starting at 5. It will be Olympia and Curtis one more time before state. I have a feeling they could meet in state as well. And then the nightcap, the girls' championship, starting at 8. That will be Tahoma taking on Camas as well. So some fantastic basketball coming up on Saturday. We can't wait to see you then. Joe, always a pleasure working with you. An absolute blast tonight. But that is all the time we're going to have for this edition of high school basketball on the Eli and NFHS Sports Networks. For Joe Withy, I am Matthew King. Curtis takes this one from Camas 79-46. We will see you down the road for more high school sports on the Eli and NFHS Sports Networks.